Hi, I'm John. I'm 38 years old. I'm from New York. I first found out about this course. A friend of mine was actually working, teaching at the course. And he told me about it. And what interested me in the course was that it seemed like it was going to pack in a lot of information very quickly. I mean, a 6-week Curandero training course is sort of, it's like a year. It's really fast. And so that was interesting to me. And I also got the sense that it would explain a lot of information very clearly. I've often found it frustrating here in Peru to try and get a clear framework to understand the work that people are doing down here. It's a lot of very interesting stuff and interesting details and interesting techniques, but it's very rare or never that someone will just sit down and lay it all out for you. And I thought this course would offer that. The course was amazing. It was very challenging. A lot of work to do. Learning the icaros, learning the songs, it didn't seem like it was going to be that hard. It's like, you have to learn 10 songs. Well, we'd like you to learn 10 songs. And that was probably the most challenging part. Because I don't sing. The songs are in Shipibo, which is nothing like an Indo-European language. And there's not a lot of structure in the memory process to put together the remembering. So I really had to dig in how I remember. And that was pretty challenging and pretty rewarding. I've always been moderately dyslexic, and I think that I may no longer be. I mean, it was a complete rewiring of my memory process. But that was actually just one part of the course. So that's really what made it the most difficult. There are ceremonies every other night, which was amazing. And it was great to have both Carlos and Enrique. Enrique is the curandero in whose tradition we're studying. Carlos is from America. He's facilitating and translating in more ways than one, and also has a great deal of experience as a curandero. And he really has a gift to translate not just Shipibo into English, but a completely different way of looking at the world into something that those of us with a Western mindset can understand. And that was really, that is probably the gift of this course. I mean, Enrique is an amazing shaman, an amazing curandero, an amazing healer. I'm sure there are at least 2 or 3 other people at his level, but I'm not aware of the combination of that and Carlos's ability to communicate that to the rest of us. So that was pretty cool. There were, I believe, 10 people on the course, and it's pretty interesting interacting with them. I was not a fan of everybody at the beginning, and I really grew to love everyone over time. I mean, as you know people, you come to love them, and it's, in a way, is a very intimate experience. People are shitting and vomiting and screaming and yelling in close proximity to one another, and also revealing a great deal of themselves. We had a structured is a strong word. We would share our experiences after the ceremony, and the experiences are intimate, and they're deep, and people process a lot, and just sharing that makes you know people much better and makes you understand them and empathize and connect with them a great deal. So that was pretty cool. I have, I don't know how many, 9 new friends now. I'll probably know forever. And that worked out pretty well. We did do a diet. It's a plant diet, which is something you do to connect to specific plants that will teach you things. And you're also forbidden to do a lot of things on a plant diet. You're mostly supposed to forbidden to eat flavorful food. So that's kind of interesting. But besides not being flavored, the food was actually nutritious, which has been a problem at some other retreat centers I've been to. And that was definitely good. So other retreat centers in comparison, I've been to a few other places. They're good. I feel like teaching people about ayahuasca, it's kind of like snowboarding. Like you do it a couple times, you can kind of do it. But it's really the difference between, that's cool, you had fun, you went down the hill, you caught a little bit of air, to some Olympic class shit. And the precision and clarity with which the information is delivered here is phenomenal. And above that, just the lack of bullshit. I really am beginning to understand the extent to which Westerners, and probably mestizos before them, which is say Spanish and people of mixed and Spanish indigenous tradition of blood, learning these traditions because they're divorced from it and don't know so much about it. I think, especially Americans, we emphasize the part that seems frightening or unpleasant. It's like, you're going to puke, you're going to deal with your deepest fears, you are going to live in a hut and survive only on farina and raw potatoes. And there is definitely some vomiting. People tend to confront their fears, and there are strictures on your lifestyle depending on how you're working with the medicine. But although that's an important part of the process, it's just a part of the process. And I think a lot of times people really tend to focus on that. And I've done this myself, sort of measure the validity or intensity of my experience by how terrified I was. And they don't do that nonsense here. And a whole bunch of other just like woo hippie spaced out bullshit that you get at other places is not here. So that again, the clarity with which the information is delivered, with which the tradition is shared, was quite remarkable. Beyond that, I found myself really connecting to people more, as I mentioned, which has always been a challenge for me. And it's an interesting thing. Like, the idea is that you're being healed and communicating with spirits. And concept of spirits was definitely a challenge for me. I mean, I'm very open to it, but I'm not really one to believe in things that I don't see concrete evidence for. And I came to realize over the course that, if you don't believe in something, it might not show up for dinner, And so that was kind of a catch-22, because I know a lot of people, particularly on the spiritual path, who believe in something or believe something without really just doing due diligence, for lack of a better word, and they get lost in space. So kind of trying to walk that. And I really kind of, like, literally the last ceremony, we did an extra ceremony, the 19th ceremony, and it all came together. I mean, it had been a great course, very rewarding up until then, and some long-standing physical issues, which had gotten much better over the course, healed, and my spine, and I just saw it was blocking me from connecting to a lot of things, and connecting to people and making yourself involved, and I got it. I was like, this is what's up. This shit is real. And that was pretty mind-blowing. And another thing that's cool is other people heal you. I was running with a friend of mine, and my knees started to hurt, and I just got a great massage from him, and I got some other body work from another person. There's a genius walking around here doing journey work on us. There's people doing dream work on each other. And I really appreciate that kind of cross-catalytic thing. And I also, because I see the future of this medicine evolving and synthesizing with other cultures and other techniques, it's really cool for me to see that going on here. Don Enrique's a pimp, for sure. As I said, clarity. I mean, the man knows what's up. And I definitely feel that a lot of curanderos do not have nearly the solidity of their knowledge base. And from that, you get a lot of just randomness and a lot of inaccuracies and superstitions. And, the first thing I'll take away from the course, the most obvious, is I have a very preliminary, rudimentary format with which to conduct an ayahuasca ceremony. I know how to structure it, and some small rituals, and almost 10 Shipibo Icaros. But beyond that, as I said, like a sense of connection with plants, the world of spirits, and creation. Some really awesome friends, slightly better Spanish, but above all, a confidence and a clarity in my own path as a healer. And I think a lot of that will involve this work and involve other things as well. And what I'm interested in is kind of crazy. And to just be like, yes, I can do it, and the sort of signs and intuitions I've gotten, to have faith in them, and to know that this is what this is what I'll be doing going forward. And as a lot of people doing things like this don't really make a lot of money, I also, I got some confidence to not worry about that too much. But that's really incidental. Just really the core of it, the confidence to do that work as a healer. Well, you should just come here. That's what you should do if you want to learn about ayahuasca. But I would not recommend reading books. I haven't read very many of them, but the Western perspective on ayahuasca is fucking retarded. And even the best books are a little bit off base. So I would not recommend reading books. I mean, I would really recommend coming to Iquitos. I think the tradition is the strongest in Peru. You can also go to Pucallpa, but Iquitos is a much more gringo-friendly place. And they have better food. And, this is... I mean, if you don't want to just take this course, which is what you should really do, you could look around and hang out in the cafes and get some gossip about different people. But, I mean, maybe in about a month or two, you will kind of figure out a really good person to work with. Or you could just take this course.